Hello there and welcome to Star Wars 1000. Star Wars question of the day. Where is Quinlan Vos? If you don't know, in the Kenobi series, Quinlan Vos was confirmed to be alive during the events of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that show takes place about 10 years after the events of Order 66, and apparently Quinlan survived, but where the hell is he? We know what he is doing during the time of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, he is helping Force-sensitive children, but why the heck haven't we heard anything before this Obi-Wan Kenobi series? What has he been doing, and does he even survive much longer? Because he's not in Rebels, and I feel like a character like Quinlan would see him in Rebels if he was still alive. So I'm guessing he will die soon, maybe get hunted by Vader. And honestly, I want a Quinlan Vos show. I think a show about him saving Force-sensitive children, or him doing something, I think could make some very interesting content, a very interesting show surrounding him. I'd be down for that. I do like Quinlan Vos a lot, and a show about him could be pretty cool. I'm guessing we're going to get the answer to that eventually, because they had a massive tease in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, and they can't just drop that and never resolve it. Maybe they will resolve it in a comic book, but a tease like that from a big show like Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think that should be resolved in another Star Wars TV show, like what happened to Quinlan Vos, and that's kind of why I think he should get a show as well. Maybe they dropped this tease because they are planning on bringing Quinlan back in a show in between episodes 6 and 7. Which I feel like, I think that's a bit of a stretch to say Quinlan survived that long, and for him not to even be in Rebels. If he was in Rebels and he's alive during the original trilogy and survived all the way past post episode 6, and maybe that's a little believable. I think that's still a stretch, because there really shouldn't be many Jedi alive during the original trilogy. Ahsoka, I was okay with. She's also not really considered a Jedi, and she's obviously doing something with the world between worlds. But Quinlan to be alive during the events of the original trilogy, and we know he's calling himself still a Jedi, as was confirmed in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So he is going around being a Jedi. Maybe he stops being a Jedi at some point, and maybe that's how he's alive all the way up to the events of the Mandalorian type of shows going on in between episodes 6 and 7. But I believe he should die, at least before episode 5, because there really shouldn't be any Jedi around during the events of episode 5, in my opinion. I think he should die by Vader. I think that would be pretty cool to have a fight between Quinlan Vos and Vader. Also, now that we know he is alive, he does have the potential to possibly show up in Andor or in Bad Batch season 2 or 3. So that's a possibility as well for him to be in that series. But speaking on Andor, I'd really rather them not really show any characters that we know. I want that show to be all about new characters, but that's besides the point. He does have the potential to show up in the Andor TV series. Maybe he is a part of something with the rebellion, or maybe he's working with Saul Guerrero. Maybe he believes in a more violent approach to a rebellion. So that's possible as well. We do know Andor does take place 5 years after the events of the Kenobi TV series, so maybe he went from saving Force-sensitive children and went from that into becoming more part of a rebellion, because he wants to see more of a change. He wants to take down the Empire. It's hard to know where Quinlan Vos will go from here, because we don't know his mental state, what he's thinking, what he's doing, how much he has changed. How does he feel about being one of the only Jedi left? He's obviously saving Force-sensitive children. It's hard to know how much Quinlan Vos has changed, because I'm sure whatever happened with Order 66 and the Empire rising, I'm sure that changed him as a character, and it changes the whole galaxy. Obi-Wan, you saw how he was broken in the Kenobi TV series, and he needed to find his way again. So who knows how Quinlan Vos is feeling, or what he's doing. Who knows how he's in his mental state of mind. But at least we got a tease of him, and at least we know he's alive, so there's potential for interesting stories surrounding his character. And I'm very curious to see what they do with the character moving forward. I would like to see him in a TV series, and I really want to see him in live action, but it would be cool to see him in one of the Star Wars TV shows, and maybe he'll get a TV show himself, or maybe if they decide to do a Kenobi season 2, he could be in that as well. That would make sense if he was in Obi-Wan Kenobi season 2, in my opinion. The only thing I do not think will happen with the character, I don't think he's going to fall to the dark side or anything drastic like that. If anything, I think he could help out with the rebellion, or I could see him helping out Saul Guerrero's rebellion radical group. And I do hope at some point he will die by Vader, and I don't think he should live past episode 5, in my opinion. So to wrap up the video, may the Force be with you always.